If these bone samples truly do belong to Mary Magdalene and Jesus of Nazareth, we would expect the tests to show that they are not genetically related. We would expect to find DNA representing two individuals with no familial ties. And that would be an extremely rare discovery in a family tomb. Unless the individuals were husband and wife. If the biologists cannot recover mitochondrial DNA from the bone cells, the test will have to be aborted. And we will never know the true relationship between Jesus and Mariamne.
We have indeed been able to achieve results. We got the mitochondrial DNA. Okay, so what we have here is we have two sequences, just representative sequences, one from each individual. And what I'm going to show to you here is some of the variations between the two individuals. And so we have a polymorphism here, this G and the A. A polymorphism is a variation between this sequence and another sequence, or a variation between this sequence and the reference sequence. We use a polymorphism to indicate or identify a mitochondrial profile. And this polymorphism shows one difference between the two individuals. We also have another polymorphism here, where we have a T and a C, showing another polymorphism difference. So we have a number of polymorphisms that show differences between the two sequences. We can then conclude that these two individuals, they're not related, or at least not maternally related. They do not share the same mother. It can't be mother and child. It can't be brother and sister. So for these particular samples, because they've come from the same tomb and we suspect it to be a familial tomb, these two individuals, if they were unrelated, would most likely be husband and wife.
Mary Magdalene appears with more frequency than other women in the canonical Gospels, always a close follower of Jesus. Her presence at the crucifixion and Jesus' tomb is consistent with the role of a grieving wife and widow. And so perhaps Jesus and Mary Magdalene were married, as the DNA results from the Talpiot ossuaries suggest. If we could remove this inconspicuous cement slab, we just might find ourselves staring into the entrance of the Jesus family tomb.
Okay, now how do we do this? We need everybody to help, right? Felix, you realize we're rolling a big stone. No, okay.
It's unbelievable.
This is it.
One sec, it's the real thing. I mean, I'm pinching myself. I can't believe it.
Okay, come on.
Take a picture and compare, man.
Watch your first step.
It's okay.
Step.
All right. Here.
Sorry. I can't see anything.
As long as I can see the name Scorpion.
One step at not just spiders.
No, it's Scorpion.
Okay.
Okay.
No, this is definitely it. Look, there's the chevron. It's beautiful. It's just gorgeous. This is it. Look.
Just like in the book.
Just like in the picture. Look at it, Felix. We found it. We actually found it. I'm going in.
Okay, let's go.
James, son of Joseph, brother of Jesus. After Jesus' death, his brother James took over his ministry and gathered a large following as the undisputed leader of the Jesus movement. Later Christian writings tell us that he was respected by early Christians as well as the Jewish Pharisees. And first-century Jewish historian Josephus spends more time on James than on Jesus. But just like his brother Jesus, it was fear of his religious popularity and influence that led to his death. The numerous accounts of James's life show an early Christian of such importance that if it was at all possible, he would most certainly have been laid beside Jesus in death. But what would it take to determine whether the James ossuary originated in the Talpiot tomb? The date and the recorded dimensions are extremely suggestive, but it's the patina that should prove the case one way or another. Over time, in a tomb, minerals and sediment accumulate on ossuaries. This accumulation is called patina, and it could be scientifically analyzed to produce a chemical and mineral fingerprint specific to an ossuary or tomb. Every ossuary discovered in a particular tomb will have the same patina fingerprint. Dr. Charles Pellegrino has come to the Bet Shemesh warehouse in Israel to collect patina samples from the Talpiot tomb ossuaries.
I can get a lot of the debris from here.
Charlie, that's patina.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Yes, excellent. This is 8503, the inscription of Jesus, son of Joseph. It's just one of those moments where you're struck to a kind of silence, knowing that you're holding the chemical history from the ossuary that may actually have contained the remains of Jesus of Nazareth.
At Dr. Pellegrino's request, we commissioned the collection of random patina samples to determine whether the Talpiot tomb patina is really distinct.
This much patina, that is plenty for Charlie to work in on electron microscope.
If the random samples do not match the Talpiot ossuaries, while the James samples do, then the statistical probabilities that the Jesus family tomb has been found will be overwhelming.
Be this missing ossuary, then this would have a very strong additional degree of evidentiary value. I would say that that would be an absolute slam dunk if that were in fact shown to be the case.
The Suffolk Crime Lab is a leading American CSI lab involved in solving modern-day crime mysteries. Today, it will use its forensic expertise to determine how the patina from the James ossuary and the patina from the random samples compare to the Talpiot ossuaries.
What we're looking at here now is the spectrum of the patina sample that we just analyzed. This is predominantly a limestone material, correct, Charlie?
Yeah, it's what's called the Jerusalem chalk. It's a very soft limestone.
But what I find interesting is the small trace materials that we are locating here, as opposed to the general limestone properties that you would expect to find. We're noticing iron, titanium, potassium, phosphorus, magnesium. So far, the elemental composition that we analyzed with this particular section of patina is consistent with the trace materials that we found in the James ossuary.
The signature is the same. It matches.
The patina samples from the Talpiot tomb match with the James ossuary. But what about the random samples? As it turns out, none of them match Talpiot. The same chemical and mineral spikes as that of the Talpiot tomb are exhibited only by the James patina. When the James ossuary is included in our statistical model, the probability factor changes from 600 to 1 in favor of the tomb to 30,000 to 1, strongly suggesting that this tomb belonged to the family of Jesus of Nazareth.